on the, specifically on 4.5, which is the rental inspection, Commissioner Wilder brought up some other neighborhoods, communities that do an annual inspection fee. I'm still evaluating that, but so far what I've seen is some concerns, but not total concerns. And what I also did is I printed out a list, and I have a copy for you all. But it's every apartment complex, duplex, triplex, or more, the contact person that we have, their phone number, and how many units they're responsible for. I had indicated we do keep a track of that, so I made it into a single format for you all. There's only one on here that I think we missed, and that's Mr. Gray's property on St. Clair Mall. He has a few rentals above. We didn't get all the single-family homes listed on here, but I tried to stick with duplexes or more. And there's 3,129 rentable apartments. However, I know for a fact there's 241 of them are all condemned, boarded up, and can't be occupied right now. But what does that mean? We did over 14,040 rental inspections last year, which is exactly 50% of those that can be rented. So I think our ability to ensure that rental inspections are being done is very good. If a tenant stays for 2 years and lives in the same apartment forever, and there's quite a few of those actually that don't move, they don't get re-inspected. But in doing some research on code enforcement for the trash information, I'm asking them questions about this as well, and input on that. So I'll put it in July when I come back with our code enforcement issues, the summary of our neighborhood meetings that have completed. That'll be a 1st July, I imagine, work session with y'all to give you those updates. But I do recommend the codes that the ordinance change to $10 to $20 that we have. And if we see a need to change that later, then go forth with that as well. But I think that would work. Do you have to answer any questions?
Okay. Mr. Weller?
I'll just say it's really exciting about the form-based code grant. I know a lot of folks don't know what form-based code is, but it's just for everybody's knowledge. It's an entirely different type of zoning code that's kind of intended to make urban environments more inviting and walkable, with emphasis on mixed use. It's
Great.
yeah, this is a great step.
Okay.
I'm Rebecca. I just have a couple items. On item 7.4 on the agenda, Reading America's Capitals, they have a letter of interest that they would like us to have in by June 20th. It doesn't require any match from the city. It doesn't require any resolution, but I do need the mayor's signature, so I need your all's go ahead to go forward with that. And also 7.5 is the same situation. Those preliminary applications are due June 24th. They don't require any match from the city. They don't require any resolution. They do require the mayor's signature. So with no objections, I'd like to go forward with those, if you guys are okay with it. Also, Gary had mentioned that we did get the Certified Local Government Grant. I just want to kind of update you on where you are, because the grant cycle, usually we put in the grant applications in January, February, March, and right now we're finding out what we received. And we do know right now that we received $2,500 from the Arts Council for cannons and cornets. We also received $6,000 from the Easton Foundation for archery equipment. Sewer received about $3,000 for a safety grant, and Public Works received $511,000 for their 5311 transit grant, which is about 5% increase from last year.
Okay, thank you. Anyone? Okay.
Just want to remind you all, June 20th, which is next Monday, hopefully everybody will be able to come at 4 o'clock. We will start to take a tour of our facility. It'll probably last to 8 or 8:30. Wear shorts, comfortable shoes. We won't walk 4 miles, I promise, but if we will get out and do a little walking. And, like I said, we've got some of our Parks Board members that are anxious to meet you all, and hopefully, like I said, I know y'all have never taken a tour, so it is good when you get out and see your facility. I think it's important that you know what you have, so looking forward to seeing everybody. at 12 o'clock and then 4 o'clock.
Okay, Commissioner Wilder?
I'm really looking forward to the tour. I guess I've got a technical question for Rob. Assuming we have a quorum of the commission on this tour, do we need to call a meeting of any sort?
I'm doing notice, usually telling the public that it's just a tour,
Great.
no action.
And we invited Mr. Weekly, so you don't discuss anything.
Sure.
We'll have press there.
I got a technical question.
Sure.
We have a commission meeting starts at 12:30. You think we'd be through?
I hope so.
No, I'm kidding.
Because I really do think it's important. I think
Yeah.
you as commissioners and mayor, and of course, mayor, I think you've been there, but I think it is important you see what you have.
I'm looking forward to
Because
it.
there's a lot of things that people,
Yes.
that we take care of that really people don't know we take care of. So it is important to see where your money's being spent.
I'm looking forward to it. Yes, Commissioner?
For what it's worth, I suspect we will be through. I guess only time will tell.
Okay.
But we could always call a recess. And push it in the show.
Oh, no! All right. Nothing there? Okay, here. Chief?
Yes, just for informational purposes regarding our recruit testing process. We've completed the CPAT, the physical ability portion of the testing. We started out with 132 valid applications. As a result of completing the physical, we have 72 people that are eligible to take the written test, and that's scheduled for June 25th. And then we have to go through the interviews and all the other stuff that's involved in the process. Normally, and this is right on track, we lost 38% of the applicants in the physical test. We usually lose about 30 to 40% during the written. So we will probably end up with about 40 valid candidates once we get to establishing eligibility list. And it's good timing that we're in the process of establishing a new list, because I've got 3 definite retirements coming up in July and August, and possibly another 4 after that. We'll be picking from that list.
Yeah, okay. It's important that you have it. Commissioner, Chief?
No departmental report, retirement fever seems to be hitting my department too, but that's for later. But in the event this meeting goes past 7, which I have no doubt that it will, I need to leave, and I have another community meeting, so if you feel the need for security, I can have myself replaced with another officer, but I don't think anything's...
Just leave your taser.
I'll leave a weapon behind. I'll just hide a weapon behind the
Okay.
but
Okay. All right.
I'm not being rude. I have another meeting
Okay,
to go to.
okay. All right, thank you. Anybody concerned about safety? Mr. Moore?
I just have comments,
Yes.
and that is, I have the rough draft of the amendment to the garbage fee ordinance, and I'll get that to you all within the next day or so, but in terms of the folks that have already paid, did the commission have a proposed way to handle that? I mean, I can put in an ordinance that a refund of the amount paid for the period that the waiver will apply to, the refund will just be sent to the last known address of the payor. I can do that. Or, on the other hand, I could say it would apply to the next garbage fee that's owed. But, so, I'm looking for the pleasure of the commission on that.
Well, I think you're in luck, because we're getting ready to talk about that. It's something the discussion item.
Okay.
What we'll do, so
Okay, all right.
answer that question.
And then the last issue that I have is you'll recall that the commission and the city and the Kentucky River Authority are exchanging property, the boat and the land down there. And because of the requirements of KRSA 2.083, I'd like to add an agenda item that just has attached to it the actual documents that will be executed by the city and the state, where we're basically giving to them for $1 of the land, and they're giving to us the boat, subject to the requirement that if either the land or the boat are no longer used for public purposes, then they would come back to the donor. And I've talked with the folks in the Finance Administration Cabinet, and that's how they'd like to do it.
No objection to that, okay.
Thank you.
All right, takes care of all the reports. Any old business? Commissioner Waller?
I just got a question real quick. And this is as much for your and I's sake as anything, Mayor. But Commissioner Turner has expressed a concern about his position on the push board, creating a conflict of interest when it comes to any votes regarding push. And I guess I'd like some legal clarification as to whether or not that actually is a conflict of interest, because my understanding is that unless you're a paid member of the board, which I assume you're not, that doesn't constitute a conflict of interest. And it's relevant because, for example, the mayor and I are both on the Riverfront Development Board. I mean, and I'd hate to see a precedent set that suggests that we should exclude ourselves from any votes regarding riverfront development, because that would be rather counterproductive. And I'd hate to see any of us feel the need to limit ourselves in terms of civic engagement. You know, as long as my understanding is that a conflict of interest is anything that actually benefits yourself or a family member. Financially.
I actually wrote Commissioner Turner a letter on that today. And of course, the standards of conduct basically say that no officer, in this case commissioner, shall have an interest in a business or engage in any business transaction or activity, which is pretty darn broad, which is in substantial conflict with the proper discharge of the officer's public duties. So there, the definition, you have to look at the words business, transaction, or activity. And then you also look at 39.05, which says that no officer shall intentionally use or attempt to use his or her official position with the city to secure unwarranted privileges or advantages for others. And my concern is that an assertion could be made, Commissioner Turner, that since you are serving on PUSH, PUSH is not a city entity, no, the city is not a part of PUSH, that if you vote in favor of funds being donated to PUSH, that someone can make the claim that you violated the city's code of ethics. And so I've recommended that where donations are being made to PUSH, that you refrain from voting on that. I just think that's the safer course of conduct, because I wouldn't want to see you put yourself in harm's way, and where someone makes an allegation that, hey, you're an officer of PUSH, and really you're putting, it's not a question of whether or not you're you're an employee of PUSH or you're making a profit because of PUSH's actions. The question really is whether you're putting PUSH's interests above the interests of the city. So that's the language of the standards of conduct ordinance are written very broadly, and I think the folks that did that, and it's basically we took that language from state language. I think they intentionally drafted it broadly.
If I may ask a question, would it be possible to pull that particular appropriation out of the budget and somehow do a separate vote from the general budget vote that we usually do?
I think that could be done. I mean, you could
would that affect our?
yeah, what I would like to do on that is let me check into that. I'd like to actually call someone at the KLC on that issue, just to see if they've got some guidance on that. I don't think it should be an issue. Of course, we have had the first reading of the budget already.
If you pull that out, would that affect that first reading?
If you're taking, I can't even remember what PUSH's donation amount is, but if you're taking $5,000 out of it, to me, that's very minor and would not affect the first reading.